Hi, everybody. Aaron Portzline here. Allison Lucan is there. Blue Jackets win tonight 3-0 over the Toronto Maple Leafs. Unbelievable. They are on to the first round of the playoffs, Allison. This is a bizarre, incredible series from a million different perspectives. Your initial thoughts on the Blue Jackets getting through?
I mean, honestly, a little surprised, but I think that the way that they played earned them the win. I don't think it was a fluky win.
Nope.
They looked composed, which I think is key, particularly after Game 4. Huge that Zach Werenski could play, huge that Ryan Murray could play, and here we are again facing Tampa.
Yeah, Korpisalo, 33 saves tonight after a shutout in Game 1. He's probably this series MVP, 2 shutouts. Goals tonight from Zach Werenski, the aforementioned Zach Werenski. Left Game 4, was able to play tonight with some sort of a shoulder, perhaps collarbone injury. Liam Foudy's first NHL goal. What a time for that to make it 2-0. Yes.
But not first NHL goal. Remember, this happened to Dean Kukin last year. It's his first
Doesn't count
playoff
the goal.
That's right.
Yes, the first goal in the NHL. I can say it that way.
Yes.
And Nick Foligno, this might be the biggest story of all, Allison. The Blue Jackets scored an empty net goal. They scored it with nobody in front. They still scored it. Nick Foligno gets it with 23 seconds left to clinch it. As you mentioned, they're on to play the Tampa Bay Lightning. Really just getting to this point for them is gravy, right? Honestly, that's how I feel about this. Because I think most people who looked at this team at the start of the season would have said, nice group, good guys. This is probably a year they're going to take off. I mean, a year they're not going to be part of the postseason because of all the guys that left. Then they lose 400-plus man games. Then they have a colossal, let's not mince words, a colossal meltdown at the end of Game 4, a Jean Van de Velde type meltdown. They're up 3. All they got to do is bring it on home, and they blow up like that. To come back from that alone, but to come back from all of those things, I feel like now, Allison, and I know everybody wants them to win every time they play, it feels like now this team's playing with house money. Am I right?
Oh, 100%. I have nothing to add to that. I mean, even to have, that is a large glass. That is a very large glass.
It's water.
Oh, no, it's just a large glass. But I think even to have Zach Werenski be able to come back to play.
Yeah.
Again, it's like the regular season when we talked about we'd come upstairs after a win and say, how did they do it?
What was that?
This is that season.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see some of the headlines coming out of Toronto because it's going to be, that's a team that will be condemned as a must be destroyed and brought back up again, or at least significant tweaks. There will be some that will say the Blue Jackets winning this series is proof that the NHL needs to make radical changes because there's no way that team should beat this team. It's going to generate all sorts of hilarity. But this is part of what the Blue Jackets now have done, right, for a couple of years. That's what they did against Tampa. I do not think the criticism of the way that they play is fair. I think they play an honest brand of hockey. I thought it was really interesting post-game tonight that Sheldon Keefe said the one thing that surprised him in this series is how skilled the Blue Jackets forwards are.
Yes.
And I immediately went, I better write this down because this is going to be interesting. And it was. He said there's more skill there than people think. Now, skill is not just beautiful passes, great skating, scoring goals, although that is skill, but possessing the puck along the wall, being hard to play against, cycling, all these sort of things. I don't think Columbus played a great series. I don't.
I agree.
And they're still through. But what in this series, Allison, if anything, about the way Columbus played or the result that they got, what surprised you through all of this?
You know what, honestly, and I'll build on something Sheldon Keefe said. I think that what's surprising maybe isn't the right word. We talked about this before, though, is that this might be Pierre-Luc Dubois taking that next step. He was called a game breaker by Sheldon Keefe in his post-game comments. And I think that when he ran through the Leafs player on the wall in the third period just to transition the puck, that might be surprising. I'm trying to think what else might be surprising. Honestly, I was surprised that the penalty kill wasn't more aggressive. I was surprised that the forecheck wasn't more aggressive. Those aren't the kind of surprises I know you were asking about, but I think they speak to your point that this wasn't a great series for them and they still managed to pull it out.
Yeah. And there's a couple incredible numbers in here. The Blue Jackets win a series. They did not have a power play goal.
Insane.
The fact that they didn't have a power play goal, if you're a longtime Blue Jackets fan, really isn't that surprising. They've gone 5 games without a power play goal before. The flip side of this is the Toronto Maple Leafs scored 3 5-on-5 goals the entire 5 games.
Yep.
That if you would have said beforehand that they were going to score 3 5-on-5 goals, I would have thought this was a 3-game series.
Yep.
Let's get into this because I know it's fashionable. It was today to look past to say Game 4 is just a distant memory, and that's probably how you have to handle something like that. But I'm impressed. I was impressed at the way they started this game because I wondered how long the panic, the carryover, the fragility, if you could, of that collapse would stick with them. And Allison, I didn't see any of it. Like literally from the start of the game, they didn't dominate from the start of the game, but you watched them play from the start of the game and you thought, yeah, that's how they want to play. There's really no hangover and there's no residual effect from that.
Yeah, I think that they had obviously strength in their leadership. If you listened carefully, as I know you did, to the comments from the players and coach this morning, Seth Jones even said when asked about Werenski and Murray playing, they will be a big part of the win tonight. He was already counting it as a win. But I think to that point, they had some mental stepping stones, if you will, to help them be ready. They knew Zach was coming back. They didn't have to battle against that loss. They knew Ryan Murray was coming back. They didn't have to battle against that loss. We don't know when Elvis Merzlikins got hurt, but they didn't have to worry that maybe goaltending fell apart. Maybe there was an injury involved and that goaltending could rebound to what it had been. So I think that, I don't want to call them excuses, but they had some reasons that they could maybe lean on to explain Game 4.
Yeah.
That were not present in Game 5. And they had leadership like Seth Jones, like I'm sure Nick Foligno, but setting the mind right. And we know John Tortorella is not going to let them mire in this. But it is a great testament to the mental side of the game for sure.
Yeah, but Tortorella gets a lot of people feel like they know him or have a read on him. Like, he obviously is a much better coach and a much different coach than people realize, because you can't just tell somebody to stop thinking about something awful that happened. You can't just scream it out of them. Like, and we heard Jody Shelley talk about this today, that they had a meeting in which guys talked about their Game 7 experiences, right? I'm fascinated by how they had a rough night Friday. They had to have. What steps
they did, yeah.
What day on what do you do on Saturday? Because you got to think about it. You have to learn from it. But how do you move on beyond that? And you're on a big stage. The entire hockey world's watching them tonight because there's no other game conflict. It's a Game 5. It's all there, and yet there's really no effect. That really, really impressed me. Seth Jones goes 26-29 tonight. Actually dialed it back for him.
I mean, come on.
Take it easy on him. The Blue Jackets dressed 7D. We believe as a cover in case Werenski wasn't able to play. They didn't want to be left with 5. And then, ironically, Toronto loses Tyson Barrie. Lost Dermott for a while, too. So the team that seemed shorthanded defensively comes in, gets to it just fine. The team that seemed fine ends up playing with just 5. William Nylander -3 tonight for Toronto. They moved him back to the middle tonight for some reason, and that did not go well at all. Zach Hyman struggled as well. Blue Jackets move on. Do we know when the Tampa series starts yet? I don't think we do.
We do. Tuesday. Game 1 is Tuesday at 3 p.m.
Wow. Gotta love the bubble. Right on it.
Yes.
Tuesday. So tomorrow is the day to breathe.
Correct.
And then back at it on. That's crazy. Well, these two teams know each other.
Well, and it was interesting. It was funny. It was interesting to me. We talked about this before I hit record. No one asked anyone on Columbus about playing Tampa again. Like, it wasn't even front of mind.
Right.
Here we go. What's next?
Yeah. Unbelievable. And we have to mention this because I didn't want to put anything out about it until the Blue Jackets had officially moved on. But it does bear, and I don't think this is a homer observation necessarily, but it is interesting. And it is, people within the organization are having a little bit of glee today at the idea that the players that left for greener pastures, Artemi Panarin, Sergei Bobrovsky, Matt Duchene, they're done now. And the team that they left for dead is moving on. Columbus, if they'd lost tonight, would have been in the lottery for Alexis Lafreniere tomorrow. That's probably the wise course of action, but this team has never done that. This team will never do that under John Tortorella. So on they go. Blue Jackets, Tampa, round one. Any final thoughts, Allison, as we close up shop here on the night?
Curious to find out about Elvis. Injured, didn't even back up tonight. So that's a big question mark for me going forward.
Yeah, interesting. Well, we'll keep an eye on that. And we'll have the content will keep flowing now. Blue Jackets, Tampa Bay Lightning, first round of the playoff series once again. Second year in a row for that. Blue Jackets swept them last year. That'll be a tall order to get through the Lightning this year because that team has had Columbus circled on their hate.
But injuries. But they have injuries too.
Yeah, Stamkos, Hedman, who else?
Those two are the big ones, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. Well, we'll make an account of that tomorrow, and certainly the stories will start flowing soon on theathletic.com. Thanks for sticking with us. Allison, always a pleasure. We'll talk to you soon.